Hello, world. Welcome to Querying Science, Theology, Philosophy, and Spirituality, QSTPS, the LGBTQ Center for Science, Theology, Philosophy, and Spirituality combined. We combine all of them because all knowledge is the same. Scientific knowledge is one with theological knowledge. Theological knowledge is one with philosophical knowledge. And philosophical knowledge is one with spiritual knowledge. And that's why we are querying science, theology, and philosophy and spirituality. So today, we are doing a video entitled Ancient Israel Then and Modern Israel Now. And I'm doing this because I had altercation with a lady and on Facebook, on our Facebook account, Gay Pastor. You're all welcome to join and become friends before it's too late. Many friends are coming to Gay Pastor and like lightning. So you're very much welcome. And so she greeted me and then she posted she was wondering how I can be a gay pastor. And also another guy also posted something like that. And I'm going to explain to them in the shortest time ever because I don't want to spend time on this discussion. Most people, when they see the word gay pastor, they are a bit divided. When they see, you see, when you look at a word, there is a part of the word that really asks you, either all of it or part of it. So for the lady, the thing that is irking her is that there's a pastor who is gay. You see, that is really, it's irking her head because she knows the Bible doesn't allow, or the Bible says, it's not that the Bible doesn't allow, it's just the Bible says that Moses created a law that was against homosexuals. So she doesn't think a pastor can be a homosexual because of the law of Moses. And I'm going to deal, that's what we're going to deal with today. That's why I've said ancient Israel and modern Israel. And then we're going to deal with it today. And no, you can be, just because it's written doesn't mean it doesn't happen. That's what I told her in very much writing. And she inspired me. Her attack made me write about. I wrote an article also in the Querying Science Theology blog on WordPress about the ancient Israel legislation versus modern Israeli legislation. Now, um, now that is for her. Then there's another guy, I've forgotten his name. He said, I'm seeing you talking so much about LGBTQ issues and you call yourself a pastor. I mean, why? And I told him, no, pastors have diverse roles. And I gave him the example of Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King was a pastor. He was even a reverend in the Baptist church. But people remember him more for his political activity rather than his spiritual activity, which was to preach the word of God. And this is the work of prophets. If people don't understand prophets, that's the office of a prophet is very misunderstood even in Christianity. Prophets are the future. They are the eyes of of um, of a society. That is why some prophets are moral prophets. Like when you read in Israel in the Bible, they had the moral prophets, they had the political prophets. These were prophets who are telling Israel, because Israel was a theocracy, as we're going to discuss today. So, being a theocracy, they were supposed to follow the law of God, which they were not doing. Israel, only 4 kings managed out of the 40 kings they have had. Only 4 kings. That's not even half. Very small percentage. That's 10% of the kings of Israel tried. They tried. And we're going to discuss this today. What does it mean? Human nature is human nature. You cannot moralize society. Sadly, yes. And I call those kings the Asa kings, They tried to make society morally better. It can't work because humans are naturally free. They do everything they want to do because they are gods. Yes. That's the reality. So the problem moral conservatives have, they think they can change humans to do things, and you'll see it didn't happen in Israel, so it can't happen anywhere else. Okay, so I told this other guy, no, they're moral prophets, they're political prophets, they are futuristic or millennial prophets, prophets who tell people about the future, that the future is going to be bright. I see you, you're going to rise, you're going to go. That's a futuristic prophet. He's mostly based on what's going to happen in the future. Then like moral prophets are like Nathan the prophet. When you went to see David, he was told what David did. You see, nobody told Nathan what happened. Everyone knew Uriah died in battle. So David really did a very good job covering up the murder of Uriah. But it came to Nathan's mind that David had slept with Uriah's wife and didn't want Uriah to know because Bathsheba was pregnant. Are you seeing the the failure of David to use a condom? Yes, he did use a condom. Those days, maybe they didn't have that knowledge of condoms. They needed. And because if he had a condom, believe you me, Uriah wouldn't have been killed, and Bathsheba would be visiting David more and more often. But because she became pregnant, because of their meeting, he was now in a fix. He didn't want Uriah to know. And I think Uriah and David must have been good friends. So he had to plan his murder, and he did it in a very clever way, in the sense that nobody knew that Uriah was killed by the orders of King David. Or even, it's not by his orders. He just said, put him in the front line. Because you see, when you're in the front line of a battle, you will die. The chances of you dying are very high. And indeed it happened. Uriah died. And then Nathan came and told David. He gave him a story. And then Nathan said, it is you. Do you know why David cried? He didn't cry because of the story. He cried because he was found out. That's why he was like, what? I'm undone. Because when David heard the story, he said, that man should be killed. That man did a very wrong thing to steal the lamb of a poor person. When he had so many lambs in his care, the rich man took the lamb of a poor person, one lamb belonging to a poor man. He took it to feed his visitor. So when the story was done, King David was listening. Yeah. No, that guy, the guy who did that, who took the lamb from the poor man, he's bad. And he should be punished. Then Nathan said, oh, okay. It's you. What you did, you took Bathsheba from Uriah. And then Uriah even died because you wanted Bathsheba. And that was the end. And David cried. So basically, Nathan was a moral prophet. He was a prophet to come and check the behavior of the king. So there are many types of prophets. Diversity is the principal. Never forget it. Never. Once you know diversity, you'll sleep. I'm telling you, intellectually you will enjoy life because people are different. We are not the same. That's what you need to. We are diverse. That's why I call it a rainbow world. Yes, it is a rainbow world. It's not a black and white world. No, it's not man, woman. No, it's diverse. Even when you look at nature, It's diverse. Everything, even the stars. Not all stars look the same. Look at the planets. There is no planet that has a twin. None. Planet diversity, star diversity, human diversity, intellectual diversity, sexual diversity. That's why we are an LGBTQ channel, because we know humans are sexually diverse. Gone are the days. You see, the Bible was written at a time when people had no knowledge of sexual sciences. They believed someone was a man and a woman. That's why intersex children were killed at birth, because they didn't know what they were. But now, because of sexual science, you don't kill them, you let them live. Even till today, intersex people go through a lot of tough time at birth, because the doctors say, now what should we do? Should we remove the vagina or remove the penis? And there's a very good movie I watched, or documentary, about intersex people, intersection, and it's called Intersection. And what happens is, this surgeon, some of the parents would say, yes, remove the vagina or remove the penis. Then when the child grows up, they find out they were intersex, but they didn't know. So you see, those children can even, it's going to become a very big legal battle very soon in time, because the child may even want to sue and say, I wanted to have that body part. So you see what is going to happen. So there are cases and all of these things that's going to happen. So the best you should do is, when your child is born intersex, let him stay like that. Study him. There is no useless child. Absolutely. Even if he's born with Down syndrome. Yes, absolutely. You see, if you want to deal, that's why I support abortion. Because abortion, you don't kill a human. As long as a baby is not born, that's not homicide. It's not murder. Murder is homicide, is a killing of a human. That's why infanticide is homicide. It is the killing of an infant, because he's already born. But abortion is not murder, because the person has not been born. Yes, he's not been born. So if you want to abort, abort. But the moment if you don't want to abort, when the child is born and you find the child is intersex, or has Down syndrome, or is crippled, don't kill them. Live with them. Know you now have a special needs kid, and try and live with them. If you're a lady and you can't abort and you've given birth, go to a children's home and give that child up for adoption. That's the best I would say. Rather than, in Africa, abortion is not legal. So you find most countries, so you find women giving birth and they didn't want to have that baby. But because of the society and the fact that abortion is not legal, when they give birth to that child, they throw them. There are very many stories of children being found in latrines. Now, all you need to do is educate these women, tell them, go to a home, children's home, leave that newborn baby there. They will take care of that baby. And then whoever wants to adopt the child comes to adopt. And of course, even in Africa, the reason why they don't do that is because adoption is not a very common practice. But it can be taught. Everything is about being taught. Yes. We are all educated. Even in that African culture, you are taught how to become an African, how to belong to your tribe. Yes, that's why this initiation process. Initiation is training, because they know if you're not initiated, you will not behave like them. So everywhere we are all educated in our cultures. That's why Europeans have schools, the school system. That's why Israelis had the bar mitzvah. to take people to school. We are all to be programmed. When you're born, programming begins at birth. Your parents now program you, and not only them, even the environment you live in, it is programming. It has an effect. That's why people who are born in a poor environment, an environment of poverty, they are programmed. And those who are also born in a rich environment, you're born and you see nice devices, you see the television screen, and then you see a very big car. You're a child, the environment is programming you. So you're there, you're storing data. See, children who have grown where their devices, they don't get shocked when they see them. And children who are born in the village, they get shocked when they see devices. They look at them like, what is this I'm playing around with? Yeah, so that's the thing you need to understand about life, is that we are even right now, we are being I'm being programmed. It's only that the older you become, the harder it is to program a person. This is why it's very hard to deal with old homophobes, because they have been thoroughly programmed to be homophobic. Thoroughly. Imagine 60 years of their life, they have just known homosexuals are bad people. Then suddenly, they read the science that homosexuals exist. They will do their best. They will do their best not to be homophobic, but 80%, they are already gone, because their mind has reached the point of no return. It has been programmed. Have you seen a computer device? You keep on changing, you keep on deleting, and you keep on storing it. There's a day the computer device dies. Yeah, computers grow old. That's the beauty of the artificial world. The beauty of the artificial world is that devices are natural, because they're made by natural people. Even a car grows old. Yes, just like a human being grows old, a car grows old. Why? It has been used, 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 it has been used. And some cars are not built to live long. You see, just like the human body. The human body is not built to live for 10,000 years. If it was, we would be living for 10,000 years. It's as simple as that. That's why to make humans live for long, you have to build a system that can last for long. Otherwise, in these bodies that are only trained to live for 100 years roughly, but at most 70, 60 years, it's a high call of duty. So anyway, I just had to become philosophical that way to explain to this man who was also complaining that you should be focusing on the word of Jesus Christ. And I told him, some pastors, they are pastors, but they have different callings. Like for me, it is to deal with LGBTQ persons, to encourage them to enjoy their lives as LGBTQ persons, even if they have faith. And then I also address homophobes. So my ministry is also to talk to homophobes and tell them and make them understand that you can have faith and become and also gay. That's why I attend all churches. I get time to go to many churches, even though my main church is an LGBTQ affirming church. That's my main church. That's where I've given my life for the cause. These other churches, I just visit them because I understand the theology. What is the theology I understand? God is one, and the church, which now to me is the whole world. The whole world is the church. Yes, that's my understanding. Because God is one and He's in all of us. Everyone, even an atheist, Yes, because you came from him. And Solomon said, when you die, your spirit goes back to him. Or to them, if you believe in Elohim, like I do. You go back to them. Yes, so that's what I tell people. So, so different pastors, and me, I'm of one of the kind. I'm unique, I know, because most pastors have churches. For me, the church is the world. Everybody I see God in them. Everybody, God is in them. There is something in them. Leave alone what Sixpence used to sing. Sixpence none the richer. That there's a God-shaped hole in all of us. No, God has filled it. He did it when he sent Jesus. Jesus, who is God, died for all. All. He means it. It is all. That's what it is. It's, it's very hard to understand. Some things are so hard for people to understand. It's for all. Whether you pray or not, he died for you. Whether you believe or not, he died for you. He knew why he did it. And that's what I'm telling you. Do you know Israel? If you understand Israel as a country religiously, you will understand the world. I remember I even wrote a book, Everybody's a Jew. Yes. It's not that everybody's a Jew genetically. Everybody is a Jew in the sense that God is in everybody. Yes. It's a very hard thing to understand. Please, disclaimer, I'm even shouting. It is a very hard thing to understand. But when you understand oneness, you will understand it. All right. So, let's go back to what we were discussing. So I told this guy, there are different type of pastors. Martin Luther King was a different type of pastor. Look at Al Sharpton. He's a reverend, but people know him more about politics. Yes. And I've told you, pastors you find who are political, they are prophets. They have vision. You see, like what happened in America. The black Americans' condition was so bad. As a pastor, you can't just preach to people and you're seeing them suffering. And they're suffering because of the system. Martin Luther King would have stayed in church and you'd have never known him. Never known him. How many pastors do you know? Black pastors. Not even 5. Not even 10. Yes. Why? They have their churches. It's so easy to be in church every Sunday, preach, go back home. You can do that for 70 years and you die and nobody knows you. Nobody. But Martin Luther King said, no, I'm seeing something. There's something wrong. My people are being oppressed. Yeah. My people are being oppressed and this thing can change. And so he took the initiative and he had to become political. He talked about, go and listen to his things, his speeches. Most of them are about politics, economics. So somebody will come and tell him, no, you're a pastor, so don't talk about economics. No, and I'm so happy he was so bold until he won a Nobel Peace Prize. Do you know Nobel Peace Prize is only won by politicians and scientists? Which other pastor have you heard winning a Nobel Peace Prize? Which other pastor? Even popes, they rarely win it because their job is cut. Yeah? Their job description, be spiritual. But there's an exception. There's some popes who can become political, like Pope Francis. He's trying. Amongst the popes, this one is the most, he's really trying to be hip. He's trying to be in the system. And we're very happy for that. Yes, I'm happy for Pope Francis. Because if he didn't do that, the Catholic Church was going to suffer. Like already, I wrote about what is happening in America. I can say I predicted that the American Catholic Church was the one was going to finish the Catholic Church, because the scandals that were happening in America that time, of course, they're still spilling over, but they had started spilling over many years ago. Were going to bring a lot of lethargy in the Catholic Church in America, that they will even demand a lot from Rome. So, good thing is that the Catholic Church is always meeting, always having meetings, trying to find how to solve things, and it seems like now they are solving. So it's okay. So that's what I'm trying to tell you, is that there are a lot of, and not only the Catholic Church now, Christianity, Islam, all of these religions, they are going through change. As I told people, we are in a transition. Transitions are very chaotic. You know that word transition, when you use it with transgenders, I was telling somebody, you know, it doesn't mean, you see a transgender walking with a surgery table, that they're showing you how they are being given now a penis transplant, and then you see them on the street, the doctors are busy stitching. No, it is done in the surgery table. Why is it done like that? It's because the body does not like being operated on. That's why we are injected whenever an operation is to happen, because there's a war. Yes, the body cannot, you can't do surgery when it's awake. It will say, no, I'm okay. But there's something you want. It's you inside you. Your psyche is saying, I am now going to get a penis because that's what I want. But this body, the external one, it's just, it doesn't know, it just doesn't want to touch, feel anything cutting it, because it thinks that's a murderer coming for it. So you see, to do a good surgery, you have to steal the body. But the problem of intellectual change and political change, you cannot anesthetize the society. Yes. So that means, even though surgery is happening, like what we are saying, LGBTQ churches, LGBTQ pastors, they still war, because the other people are not, they don't support it. So they will be like, what is this? It's wrong. Let's go for them. You know? So that's why there's war, homophobes versus LGBTQ, capitalists versus communists, or now millennials versus baby boomers. You know, there's old versus young. It's because they have different views, and they have failed to sit down and accept. Because you can be an old man and you accept your young children, that they like having fun. You just tell them, go and do it. Like Job in the Bible was a good father. Yeah, his children were always partying. Every day they were partying. They were so rich. They were partying every day. And he didn't stop them. That's why they died when he was not aware. Yeah, because I'm saying that because poor fathers tend to be very strict. Yes, they become very strict compared to rich old fathers or old men, because they understand everything is there. Why should I hold you? Go and do what you want. It's the world is yours. Yeah, so it's interesting. But anyway, we're not going to talk about that. I just had to banter to show you that pastors are different. So as a gay pastor, I know my job description. Of course, I'm not ordained. It's my name, because when I was in school, I was called a pastor. It was my nickname, because I liked reading the Bible. But I was also gay. But I didn't know I was gay. So when I grew up and now found out that what I was exhibiting is gayness, I said yes. Then I'm a gay pastor. And that's how I gave myself that title. So what I do with that job description is I encourage LGBTQ persons of faith and tell them that my understanding of God is that God loves you. He knew you are going to be LGBTQ. Yes, he knew it. And he doesn't hate, because if he hated, If he hated you being LGBTQ, you should be dead now. You should have died at birth. The first guy you kissed and you're a boy, he should have killed you that day. But he didn't. Why? He knows it's you. That's who you are. And he's letting you live your life. So accept yourself. So that's why we are very happy there's now even affirmative therapy to counter conversion therapy. Because conversion therapy is a waste of time. What are you converting? What are you converting? And sex is a biological function. A homosexual is a biological being. This is why churches and mosques need to sit down and really understand, because history is going to judge them as very ignorant people. History, you wait 1,000 years to come. Yes, 1,000 years to come. The churches that existed today and attacked gay people, they will regret. They will regret because they did not understand, they did not take time to understand the science. That's why I told people, Gene Robinson is the happiest gay man in the world. One of. He's a bishop. He has his husband, what he wanted to do in life. He has got it. Yes. And his church, it's even the best. It's the closest to God, because God has relationship with everybody, black or white, gay or straight, poor or rich. Yes, that is my understanding of God. Of course, we'll do that in another video. Okay, enough said. So that's why I do it. That's why I call myself gay pastor. I help LGBTQ persons, and I also talk to homophobes. I have time to talk. I talk. You see, I talk a lot. Yes, because that's what I can do with a homophobe. I will talk them out of their homophobia. Yes, to tell them that you need to understand gay people. They are born. These are your children. Let them be. A homosexual child is not a heterosexual child. That's what they need to know. And they have to accept it. And I tell them, if you have a problem, go and contact God. Me, I have no problem. That's why I'm not even contacting God. I know he's already okay with it. Yes, he's okay. He's very okay with it. Extremely. I've told you, if he's not okay with it, he would have ended the world today. Why did Sodom and Gomorrah happen? As they say it happened. Why has it not happened again? It has never happened. Even California, it bans not because of homosexuality. It's because it is on the leeward side of America. All leeward sides are dry. So the hot winds, the dry winds go to the leeward side. Go and check. Now it's snowing. There is more snow in eastern side of America. It is geography. If it was homosexuality, balls of fire should have been falling down in America. But they haven't fallen. Why? The world is cosmological. It's not controlled the way people think of sin. Yes, I know many of us made those errors. I remember there was a time I used to think that hurricanes were caused because of gay people. Yes. It's because I was in churches, straight churches, that believe sin is the cause of natural calamities. And it's not that. Because there are countries where people are doing those same things you're saying, and they have never had a natural calamity. Yeah. Never had an earthquake, but they are busy fucking more than you, who has earthquakes, hurricanes. It's where you are. Geographically, America is situated in a on the way away from the equator. Any country that is away from the equator, the more away you are from the equator, the higher the chances of you going through a lot of weather upheaval. But now in Africa, which is very close to the equator, it's the home of the equator, or it's a continent that has most of the equator. What happens is floods. There are no hurricanes, but there are floods. Why? Because when the sun is very strong, rain is too much. And next thing you know, the floods become many. Now, the opposite of floods is drought. That's why the Sahara Desert is in Africa. Yes, it's in Africa. Okay, we can talk. So that's why I'm gay pastor. Yes, I have my role. I know it's. I know there are very many types of pastors out there. There are even pastors who are, yeah, they're even economic, financial empowerment pastors. Their job is to teach people how to be financially empowered. Yes, they are there because spirituality is so wide. This is why even there were religions that were primarily for sex. Those are called fertility religions, fertility churches. Yes, fertility temples. The goddess of love, Venus, she had her priests and priestesses, and these were the prostitutes. Sex in that religion is an offering to the gods. They even demand it. Yes. So there are very many books we can talk about. You see, that's why I warn you, religion, you can talk about it forever. It's because it's about life, it's about everything and anything. So today, the reason why we don't have very many fertility churches is because the religions are very, they are not physical. They are very celestial minded. They are very extraterrestrial. Yes, they are very extraterrestrial. They don't think about the earth. Yes, and it's true. Even Jesus was extraterrestrial in the sense that he said, do not even worry about what you're going to eat or drink or wear, like the Gentiles do. You see, Gentiles were known to be people who are concerned about the terrestrial. And what does it mean to be concerned about the terrestrial? I need to eat, I need to drive, I need to have a job, I need to take care of myself. And even Christians, many Christians don't live like what Jesus said. If they did, they would be poor. Yes, they don't. Because can you imagine living a life whereby you just sit in the house, just go and stand outside, don't go and look for food, don't worry about, just live life. Very few people live like that, and they call themselves Christians. You see, it was not really. So does this mean what Jesus was saying was really not realistic? And it depends how you interpret it. Yes, because some people, they will say, Jesus is just saying this. Maybe he means the opposite, And we'll talk about this when we talk about communication. One of the reasons why the world is the way it is because there is communication, miscommunication. Secondly, the world is weird. How you interpret what I say is not how another person will interpret what I say. And that's what you need to understand. All right. Can I try to be fast? I will. I will try to be fast. Okay. So today, or on second thoughts, let me stop this video and I will call it something else because there's no need to call this Ancient Israel, and I've taken 40 minutes discussing just about life. Yeah, let me close this one and then we'll come for the real video.